What it do, baby boo? Welcome to the crew. We out here doing a review of Night 9, the Law Pro Guide. What is it called? They're just doing a review, though, an overview of him playing Ryze. So this is a fresh look. I haven't watched this video yet. Um, I'm doing it live on stream. I stream Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wait, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and occasionally on Saturday. So feel free to stop by. 8 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Please join the fun. This is actually happening live on stream right now. So we'll have some fun conversation, especially how we break it down and see what they say about Night and what we can add and see how it goes. So here we go, review.
Told you guys Ryze was good. What's up, Game Leapers? Coach X
Game
back
Leap.
at it. And in this video, you're going to learn how to machine gun your way to victory on Ryze in every ranked game. We're going to watch Knights, arguably the best mid laner in the world, destroy Korean challenges on the Rune Mage, going.
So I'm already about to have to fire them up real quick. I know he said arguably the best mid laner, but literally he got knocked out in semis by Angel, who in my opinion isn't a very good mid laner. He was like a two trick. But Knight definitely underperformed. What's the graphics are at trash tier? Let me fix that. A pop up more often. I have a bad. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I got you. It's yes. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and occasionally Saturday. See? Like a song. There are 4 days. There are 4 days that occasionally King will stream. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and occasionally Saturday. Yo, I got a whole song. Yo. Alright, this is all staying in the video.
12, 1, and 8. There's an insane early solo kill in this game, and as the replay will show, the damage Ryze can dish out is absolutely nuts. The gameplay will teach us how to play Ryze and mid lane in Season 11, what to build, and how to hard carry a game on the blue battle mage. The tips and
So, first things first, Season 11 is insane. Hey, thank you, Nova Sips. Welcome for joining the crew. We out here. Baby, boo! Yeah, Season 11 is kind of wild, right? Like we're here, we're in a weird time, or pre-Season 11, where all these new items have dropped, and some of them are broken, some of them are overpowered, and some of them have really crazy interactions. Maybe this is what this video is. I don't want to start and stop it way too much, but that's probably what this video is going to get into. It's going to discuss maybe how Ryze with the new ability haste is actually broken. Like maybe if you get over a certain ability haste cap, he goes back to machine gun Ryze, where you're able to like Q, W, Q, E, Q, Ew, drag him down. Welcome to the crew, baby. Boo, thanks for the follow. Like I said, we're doing this live, so all this is staying in the video, and we're just going to break down and kind of run through what we think is going on in this how to mid lane for Season 11 from Game Leap.
valuable information we're about to dive into are guaranteed to make you a better mid laner, so stick around guys because you will miss out for sure. If you are loving the preseason as much as we are, then please drop a like on the video and subscribe and turn on all notifications. We're uploading for favor and sub. I also don't look you can build on what runes to run, and we'll get into all that, but if we don't know how to play mid lane, we won't be able to abuse those massive power spikes. Tip number 1, get control. This means having priority, which is when your minion wave is pushing towards the enemy tower. So how do we go about doing that? By damaging the wave more than our opponent. We see Knights auto attacking the minions for 2 reasons. Yes, he wants to get.
So I know a lot of people understand or are trying to understand as they get better at the game like what priority is, but priority is almost like jungle dependent. So you can gain a sort of priority as a mid laner if you push the wave, but if your jungler's not contesting scuttle or not invading, then having that push puts you in a risky position, because effectively what you want to do is you want to push the wave so that your enemy is under tower and forced to last hit the minion so that they can get their money, while you show up to the scuttle fight or while you show up to the invade, even if it's like 2 seconds before their enemy mid laner gets there. You still beat them there. You can dish out your damage, you can kill that jungler, and then turn onto their mid laner and kill the mid laner. But again, if your jungler isn't doing things proactively, like if your jungler is not contesting scuttle, if your jungler is not invading, pushing that hard can sometimes jeopardize your positioning. So maybe they'll discuss that. I'm just putting that out there early when it comes to getting prio, because it is kind of it's a balancing act. You have too much prio, you're not safe. You play too safe, then they have prio and they're able to move before you can.
Get control if he can, and 2, he doesn't want the enemy wave crashing into his tower, but why not? It's harder to CS under tower before major items are bought, and it gives Ari a chance to put pressure on Ryze and deal damage. Knights obviously doesn't want this. Ari wants the same thing as Knights. She wants that early control, and is auto-attacking the wave too, and this means future minion waves will collide in the middle of the lane, which is absolutely fine for Ryze. The position of the wave dictates our general positioning, guys, and this is crucial to understand. If the minion wave is frozen near Ari's turret, we have to push up, and this is obviously riskier for us, especially on Ryze. If the minion wave is more central, then our positioning is safer and we die less. You might be asking, but Iggs, you just said to get the wave pushing to get control. I did, yes, and this does mean we have to move further up the lane, but if Ari chooses to fight us, we have the minion advantage and win every time. The difference is when it's not pushing and the waves are stabilized outside Ari's turret. This is when you stack up numbers in the death department. I'm sure we've all been there. Now, it's important to note that if we're using ability,
I was looking for closed captions, because if I can, I would love for it to be captioned for those for the hard of hearing in our community.
He's on the wave, those are abilities we could have used on the enemy champion. You only want to be using your abilities on the wave when you're trying to thin enemy minions or when you're trying to hard push. You can see Knights in this game is throwing out his Q, overload, between the range and melee minions to damage Ari. It's actually so clean, to be honest. Some of you might be scared of fighting for the minion advantage during the first 2 waves, but that's only because it's a whole new playstyle. If you guys run it down for 10 games trying to play an aggressive early game, that's how you will improve and learn. Otherwise, that gap between Knights playing Ryze and...
So what he said low-key is we out here limit testing. Yes, you do want to play aggressively, especially if you're playing in like a normal game or a custom game with friends. Play as aggressively as you can, because then this way you can you get an understanding of where your champion's abilities go and how far you can push them. If you're not limit testing, you might always play on the back foot, and there are opportunities that you're just going to miss. Now, when it comes to ranked, yes, you want to play a little bit more on the reserve side, because the hope is that at some point everybody comes together and pushes forward and plays as a team. But nonetheless, really, especially in this preseason, since the ranked is done, right? Ranked is over. We're in preseason. There's a whole bunch of new items. There's a whole bunch of new builds. Champions got some, adjustments and shifts. There are new items that have different interaction with different champion abilities and things. So this is really the time to limit test and go crazy. Right, actually, my stream right now, it's called, I think, the Limit Testing Chronicles, which is, I don't know, I just thought of it as the name just to be kind of funny. But, yeah, make sure that you are kind of pushing yourself, even if it's a champion that you have mastered or you have the understanding of, that you're actually pushing forward and continuing to go. Because, yeah. Now, I wonder when he's going to get into the actual, like, night-specific stuff. Because a lot of this stuff has just been things that you should do as a good League of Legends player. Understanding wave management, understanding priority.
Someone in silver playing Ryze will never be closed. I don't want you guys sitting back thinking you can't play the game because of a bad matchup, or you think Ryze is bad. Try to get control. At the very least, the wave will be centralized as it is in this game, and this gives you opportunities to deal damage to the enemy mid laner and CS safely. Tip number 2, the +1. As a mid laner, who would you invite to come and join the party? Your jungler, right? They are your +1. But guess what? I'm not interested in your +1. I'm interested in the opponent's +1, and in this game it's Graves. As I'm sure you're all aware, mid lane is never just a 1v1, and I'm willing to bet some of you out there, me included, I've done it, say jungle diff after you die. The enemy jungler may well be having a better game, but the reason it's a jungle diff is because you died and gave that enemy jungler extra gold. So the real question here is, why am I dying to ganks, and how do I stop dying to ganks? Look at Knights in this game. Why do you think he's hugging one side of the lane? Is it because what? He likes the texture of the wall on this side more than the other? What he's doing is standing away from a potential gank. In this game, Graves can only really gank Ryze with red buff, so Knights holds the high side of mid until Graves transitions to its top side jungle. He then swings back down to the low side of mid. The reason why this is effective is because there is space.
Alright, so this is, how should I put it? This is one of those things that's like super technical in higher MMR and higher elo. You may be able to get away with it. This will be helpful as you progress and as you climb. But they also, I guess what he's failing to explain to the audience is in the on like the super server where like Knight basically resides and lives, you're gonna have level 1 wards. You're gonna know where the jungler's pathing is starting. Everybody invades and they walk around and stuff, and you get an idea of where the jungler's starting. So in our games, that just doesn't happen. Like the best opportunity for us to know where the jungler's starting is if the team invades, fights the jungler at the like red buff or whatever, or at their blue buff, and bot half of the map, and are actually, then you go, okay, well, we took their red, so we had to start blue. You kind of get an idea there. But for the most part, people just what's what I'm looking for. People go to their lanes, or if they're bot lane, they help leash the jungle. People aren't actively warding, so that's one of those things where information is key. But in your standard gold and below, even platinum below, you're not going to see often. I shouldn't say ever, but you're not often going to see those kind of changes to that kind of game, not gameplay, but those levels of play when it comes to just warding and vision. So, because for him to know that Graves is topside, because I mean Graves showed here, and I think maybe Graves was ganking, so that's how maybe the top laner saw Graves. But for them to, or maybe Graves ganked, and that's why the top laner's not on the map because they died. In standard games, you just wouldn't know, because you have to think when we are playing, we put a ward here or we put a ward there. When really we should be putting a ward like here to see if he's taking his chicken or he's taking his chickens. Because if they're taken, that means they're most likely pathing up. Because then they did a red. They either did red Krug's chickens or red chickens, which I don't know why you'd ever do that. Or maybe if it's a jungler that starts chickens, then so be it. But that's just an information thing that I think he's kind of assuming that some of us would have when we wouldn't.
Space between Ryze and Graves if he wants to gank. It gives Knights time to react and escape to safety without being touched. The only way Graves executes a gank is if Ahri was to flash charm or the enemy support comes out of nowhere. From my hundreds of hours of coaching experience, this is one of the core problems mid laners have, considering the enemy +1. Every game is the same. You run to mid and stand in the middle of the lane, you die level 3 to a Xin Zhao gank, and you spam ping your jungler. Think about who the enemy laner is bringing to that party. Are you going to let them in or not? Let me know in the comments if that joke was cringe or legit. If you're learning about how to play mid lane from the couple of tips we've detailed so far, guys, please remember to drop a like, we really appreciate it. And
also,
any questions
like this
about
video.
what I've been through, don't hesitate to ask away in the comments. Tip number 3, know your bank. Guys, it is essential if you're to become a top mid laner to know your gold values. Yeah. How much do your major items cost? If I was to ask you what your first back timer should be on...
This is funny because we're literally in a brand new season with these new items. So yes, it's good. It's going to be good for you to learn the cost of these items and win the back. Like I know for 80 carry, it's still the same 1300 if you're getting the noon quiver, I think is what it's called. But like for a bunch of these items, I'm just like, I don't know. I was playing Mordekaiser, and I had no idea what the Mordekaiser his first item on the Night Harvester. I don't know. I'm still learning the items myself. But it was also 1300 gold. It's one of those things where the more you play, the more you'll learn. As long as you're actively trying to learn these things, you'll be fine.
Your champion, how many of you would know? Now, your first back timer, for those of you who don't know, is based on the gold value of the first item you want to buy. For example, and we'll use the Season 10 Ryze build, you would start with a Sapphire Crystal and back on 500 gold for your tier, right? For Season 11, and I'll walk you through the new Ryze build in just a moment, you are going to start with that same Sapphire Crystal and a refillable potion and build the Mana Crystal into a Lost Chapter. This is 950 gold away, and this is your new first back timer. So remember it, write it down, get it tattooed. It's vital we play towards this value. 950 gold. You can get to the 950 after the 6th wave with CS alone. This is the second cannon wave. It's a little awkward though, and here's why. You hit level 6 off this wave, and if you are playing against a champion with all-in potential when they skill their ultimate, it's risky to stay longer in lane with just a Sapphire Crystal, right? In this meta as well,
I can't tell if he's just assuming that you're hitting all your CS. If you're perfect CSing, then yeah, that sounds about right. But I don't know whether he's giving like a leniency to like 10 CS or something.
Lots of players will be picking Fizz, Akali, Zed, champions that can grey screen you on repeat, so we have to be mindful of that. Let's think about the back timers for other popular mid laners. You were playing Zed and started Longsword, your first back timer is 750 gold, which is what? Serrated Dirk, nice. What about if you were playing Katarina? If you can get to 1050 gold for Hextech Alternator, you're doing work. When we play any mid laner, that gold represents power, but only when we invest it. So if it's just sitting there, it means nothing. What matters is what we have when we are on the map.
That is a wonderful point. That is one of the best points that I even have to sometimes tell my friends when we're duoed or if we're in a team game or something, like a pub, like a, custom game. Spend your gold. Spend your gold. Your gold does you no good. It does you no good sitting in your inventory, sitting in your pocket, sitting in your wallet, sitting in your bank, as he called it. It does you no good because you might be a level up and have perfect CS, but if you're not spending that gold, you're not actually contributing or doing anything. So make sure you're spending gold, and because the way this game works is you gain strength from your items, not from the gold itself. So please spend it. Go back and buy. My rule of thumb, I don't know if he's going to say it, or it'd be cool, because I've been pretty good. I've been pretty on with this video. With some of the things when I stop and say them, and then they say it later. So great minds think alike. Great minds, What I was going to say is, what I try to do personally is zero out my account. So when I back, I either try to back on the timing where, like, let's say I need 1300, I start backing at 1290 or whatever, finish the recall, buy the item, run off base. Or if I'm at a weird number, so let's say I needed 1300, but I'm at like 1470 or something, then I'll recall, buy the item, but then I'll buy like a ward and like 2 potions or something to try to get as close to zero. I'm trying to zero out my account so that way I'm not leaving any power in my pocket. You know what I mean? I'm not leaving any power in my wallet. It's all going to be either out on the field or in items. It's going to be kind of forward moving. And that's something that I think people tend to forget. Like sometimes they'll do the thing where they're like, well, I'm not close enough. Let's say they're at like 900 gold. And they'll say, well, I'm at 900 gold. I'll just go back to lane, and then I'll try to farm so I can back and get my BF sword instead of spending the 875 on a pickaxe. The problem with that is if the other person decided to say, screw it, I'm just going to get the pickaxe, you're at a disadvantage. And the time, just think about it when you're playing. How many times have you like, I'll just wait the little bit more, 400 gold, and then I'll go and I'll back. And what ends up happening? You're laning, you're farming, the enemy laners aren't letting you back, you're laning, you're farming, now you're sitting at like 1,500 gold, 1,600 gold, 1,700 gold because you're still in lane, and then either you may get a kill because you get gank assist, or you get killed because you didn't have the item power spike that you needed. Now, and depending on the skill matchup, depending if you're actually skill checking them, and you're like, I'm better than them, I don't need the stats from these items, then yeah, maybe that might be a reason for you to go in differently. But all in all, you should be spending your money, you should be spending your gold.
So yeah, we can become stronger by leveling up, sure, but we have to recall to become even stronger. So let's start thinking about backing like it's a positive. Most low elo players think it's bad to back because you're wasting time. No, you're wasting time sitting on that item spike for longer and longer and longer. Know your bank, guys. Tip number 4, the machine gun build. Now this is specifically for Ryze, and I'm not going to kid you guys who don't want to play him by saying you want to build this on every mid laner. So if this is where we part ways, then thanks for watching, and if you would be so kind as to like the video on your way out, even better. Okay, so we have our lost chapter, which is how much gold when we start Sapphire Crystal. 950, good. Then we're going to buy a tier of the goddess, which is now 400 gold, and sit on it until we complete our Leandra's Anguish, which is 2100 gold away. We need to buy Fiendish Codex, that's 900 gold, and spend another 1200 to get to that mark. Then we're building our tier into Archangel's Staff, which is another 2600 gold. The staff comprises tier, of course, a needlessly large rod, and another Sapphire Crystal. We want to buy Boots of Speed.
On a side note, I learned earlier today when I was playing Ryze that they added a component where you can buy the stacked or the evolved version of the tier items. So the Mirror Mana and the Archangel Staff, you can actually just cash out and buy them. Like I think it's like 5,200 gold, which is insane. But there's the option there if you don't want to. Like, I guess it's for people that are really far behind in buying their tier, but really far ahead in money. So that way you can just cash out and get the item. But it's super expensive. It's like It's really expensive. 5,200 gold is insane.
Some point during all this as well, 300 gold. I'd recommend upgrading the boots into mercury treads or plated steel caps. These are the new ninja tabis. Both of these are another 800 gold. Now, we're not buying tier as a starting item, you did hear me correctly. The reason for this is that Ryze's biggest power spike is when he completes the mythic Liandry's Anguish. The 80 AP, the 600 mana that puts power into his abilities by his passive Arcane Mastery, and the 20 ability haste that makes machine gunning a lot more achievable are too good. The mythic passive attached to Liandry's is great for Ryze too. It grants all other legendary items 5 ability haste, so we'll have an extra 20 haste at full build, which is really nice. The reason for buying a tier after Lost Chapter is because we still need time to accumulate 450 stacks. So our first 3 items are sorted, and this is our core. Liandry's Anguish, Archangel Staff or Serap's Embrace, and Mercury Treads or Ninja Tabis.
Okay.
The next 3 items are to be bought in order of what is needed most in that particular game, and I think there are 6 viable options here. One of them is the new legendary Cosmic Drive. The 70 AP is a good increase, the 200 health makes us a little beefier because the only tankiness you will have at this point is from your boots, 30 ability haste is an insane spike, and with these 3 offensive items, Anguish, Seras and Cosmic, we can start machine gunning champions to the great screen. On top of that, the Spell Dance passive that grants movement speed when dealing damage synergizes really well with Ryze's Overload and Phase Rush. Another item to consider is Frozen Heart. Into 80 heavy compositions, this is a must buy.
So effectively, all of like this build for Ryze is about upping the ability haste, since now there's no cap on reduction. Because I believe he said the Liandry's Anguish had like 20 or something. And again, I don't have the numbers memorized. But the Liandry's Anguish had like 20. That item that they just said had 20. Oh, and for every completed item you get 5. So like he said, at a full build, do boots count as? Probably not. So that's another 20. Then you're getting 20 from a Frozen Heart. Oh, and the other thing, like, increase your ability haste for 3 seconds or something. So you're probably looking at, like, close to 50%, maybe even higher when it comes to cooldown reduction. And I think that's probably where this build gets its real oomph, because then you're actually able just to, when we say roll face on keyboard, to be able to kind of hit all your keys and just keep on spamming out abilities and stuff.
80 armor is absurd, and the 2 passives, Winter's Embrace and Rock Solid, make it even harder for attack damage champions to come close to killing you. The 400 mana is great because it works with our passive and makes sure we never run out of the blue stuff, and the 20 ability haste adds even more cooldown to our kit, which is an important stat for the Rune Mage. Banshee's Veil is the go-to against heavy AP compositions. The 45 magic resist is a welcome stat, but the Annul passive is always useful. It grants us a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability. Later in the game, this might be a stun or long-range skill shot, and this can be game-changing. The 65 AP gives us more power, as does the 10 ability haste. One new legendary that works great with Liandry's Anguish is Demonic Embrace. Passive, as Arcana Gaze, burns enemies and you gain armor and magic resist if a champion is affected. This builds out of a Giant's Belt and offers 350 health. Damage and tankiness, ideal for Ryze. I will also recommend Ryze's Crystal Scepter. This is the same gold as Demonic Embrace, 3000, and builds out of exactly the same items. 90 ability power, awesome. 350 health, awesome. And the passive Rime Frost that slows enemies by 30% for 1 second. Later in a game, when you have unlimited use of your abilities because of all the ability haste, enemy champions will not be able to escape. You will be EQing non-stop. Last item to consider is Void Staff to shred through enemy magic resist. You have the shreds and items cap. It's now 3800.
Death cap is crazy. We know that.
Identity.
See if it's gonna give us anything else.
We get out without any questions or
So yeah, all in all, I agree with a lot of things that were said in the video. I think it makes a lot of sense. This build is primarily discussing what's the word I'm looking for. Again, the first part of the video was dealing with things that you should know to be like a better player, things that you should know to be a good player, versus, you know, maybe either not knowing them, or because we're all at different levels of learning, we're at different places when it comes to playing this game. But the end there was actually really, really neat. I kind of want to, right before we wrap this up, I want to, let's go back real quick. And let's look at items. So we'll just, hey, look, I have a Ryze thingy. So we'll get rid of those. This is my old Ryze build, and as you can see, most of the items still make it to this game, but the 5th item is gone because they probably removed it. Alright, so he was saying that this, so I should find tier, this, and then this turns into, so we do that. What was the other thing? It was a, anything here? Rocket belt, dark harvester, nope. I don't know the items well enough is the actual problem. Okay, so it was Leandries, oops. Here. So it's Leandries that they said. They said that one finishes. What was the second item that he said to build? Chat, if you guys remember, can help me out, because I'm actually just like brain melting. Oh, it was the was it the agony something or other? Now I have to jump around. Jump. Leandries. Cool. Archangel. Cool. Oh, then he said boots. Hey, Milstevan. Welcome. Means told me to follow here, your unit. Some days. Was it the Azakana? He went boots and then he went Azakana. Now I'm like trying to scrub through. Oh, Cosmic Drive. It was Cosmic Drive. Cosmic Drive. Oh, hey, is that Mike? I think that's Mike. Is that Mike? Lord Takaru? I feel like that's Mike. I don't know. That name looks familiar. But welcome to the crew. What did the woo? Welcome all. Thank you all for stopping in. Thank you all for. We're just doing a video breakdown. It is. Long time no see, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. Right now, what I'm trying to do is, they said to go merc treads. And I'm trying to get the build together. Thanks, daughter. Thanks for throwing your friends at me. I appreciate you. I appreciate it for real. Okay, so yeah. But then I think he said it was what the Ryze. That's Ryze, right? And then the last one. So yeah, this was 20. This doesn't have any haste. This was 30, so that's 50 haste. I feel like there was one more item with a little bit more haste on it. Am I tripping? Oh, the Frozen Heart. Okay. Yeah, that was the last. That was like the last haste item. Frozen Heart. Alright. So now, altogether, it was something like this first, complete this, get that, and then your last 2 items can be your Ryze or whatever other item. So if this has 20, this has 30, but then it increases your ability haste by 10 plus 20% of your ability haste. So that's going to be the game changer that actually puts it through the roof. And this is 20 and this is 30. So that's 70 plus. So that's 100, right? Am I doing that wrong? Because oh no, this doesn't have any haste on it. That's where I messed up. All right, 20, 30, 50, 70. So that's 70, and then the active on this. So say 80 plus 20% of your ability haste or whatever, which is crazy when you think about it, right? So if you're at 80 ability haste, I think 80 ability haste translates to 50 or 60 CDR, which is something stupid. And you on Ryze, you just be able to machine gun your entire spell rotation. I'm probably gonna play this right after this, right on stream. So if you guys want to see me face roll, run it down, and struggle on Ryze, we're about to get into it. But yeah, I'm thinking with this build, it's just really strong. And again, we're in preseason 11. We're all learning a lot of insane stuff right now, but this is pretty cool. Oh, you guys can't see. Oh man, hold on. Where's my lead client? And I'll move it up just a little bit. So yeah, that's the full build right there. Bada bada ba boom pow, bada bing bada bow. And then I gotta move it back down because I have it right here. There we go. Alright. Well, thanks again for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, share, follow, rhyme, reason, all the things. And I appreciate you for tuning in to this channel here. King of Reno, out.